going on, everybody? This is NGS. Welcome back to another video. Today is going to be all about the PlayStation 4 and my collection. I haven't done an update for the PlayStation 4 yet since I've owned the system, and it's been around a year-ish, year and a half, close to 2 years since I've owned the system, so I felt it was about time for me to get on here and tell you guys the games I've been playing, or in this case, not been playing because my backlog is ridiculous, but more on that later. So let's start out with the very first game that I picked up for the system, and that is Infamous Second Son. Of course, I am no stranger to the Infamous franchise. It's one of my favorite series from last generation, and of course I had to pick up the latest installment, and I gotta say it's pretty solid all around. It's definitely not my favorite in the series, but it does a lot of things right for the franchise. There's definitely a lot of replayability. The main character, Delson Rowe, he's pretty awesome. I mean, he's played by Troy Baker. I was more of a Cole fanboy more than anything. This game is very good nonetheless, especially some of the graphics and the physics. It's just out of this world beautiful. So Infamous Second Son is definitely a game that I think everybody should play. It's worth it just because there really isn't any superhero type game like this out on the market. To be honest, there really aren't any superhero games out on the market anymore. That's depressing. Next up we have what can be deemed as a disappointment all around, Killzone Shadowfall. Now, I'm not saying that this game is bad in any way, but for a Killzone game, it was just kind of I mean, the story in the Killzone games are really nothing to write home about. They try to be uber serious and they try to tackle so many different things, but they're, to be honest, pretty generic and boring. I mean, something that you would expect to see in like a Call of Duty game nowadays or a Battlefield. I mean, Killzone is basically right up that alley. Multiplayer was pretty fun from the couple hours that I've played, and the graphics on this thing are freaking beautiful. But other than that, it's just a Killzone game. You're either gonna like it, you're either gonna love it, or you're gonna hate it. So I'm kind of in the middle of all this. But Killzone Shadowfall is a good game nonetheless if you do want a competitive, exclusive first-person shooter. Now we got another, wow, oh my gosh, so many disappointments in a row. There's not much more that needs to be said about Destiny that hasn't already been said. I bought this game because I had so much fun playing that Destiny Alpha. Y'all know what I'm talking about. After that E3, oh my lord, that Alpha was so much fun, and it just got me so hyped up for this game. And it came out and it was basically the Alpha. That's it. Which should have been a good thing, but I was expecting so much more out of Destiny than what I got. It just devolved into a wannabe MMO shooter where you're farming for exotic weapons that you don't even get to keep and trade and all this ridiculous stuff. I've heard better things about the downloadable content, the Taken King, but again, that requires you spending more money to get a better experience out of a game you spent $60 on. So unless they put that shiz up for free on PlayStation Plus, do not expect me to touch Destiny, the Taken King. But it does do a couple of good things right. First and foremost, as an online game, like the whole co-op aspect is beautiful. I love that fact. It was very smooth. The first-person shooter mechanics are top-notch. I mean, it's Bungie. What do you expect? But I felt like I was doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. And I know a lot of people say that, well, that's any game that has online. You are doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. But with Destiny, there wasn't really that much variety. You'd be doing the same things day in, day out, and it's just bleh. You guys know how big of a Spider-Man fanboy I am, so I had to get to the amazing Spider-Man 2. Well, it does a lot of cool things, I can say that. I love the choice aspect of it, and of course, Spidey's my boy. You can definitely tell that this game needed at least another year of work. The visuals are really bad. They're PS3 level graphics, and not the good PS3 level graphics like Uncharted. It's just not a very pretty game at all. It definitely does seem like they had only 8 months to work on this. And I gotta blame Activision for siphoning off its budget, because when you hear about what Beanox wanted to do with this game and the past game, you know, it just all came down to funding. And Activision siphoning the resources to put into other franchises. You know, it kind of sucks that the only franchise that they really care about nowadays is Call of Duty, and all the other games that could potentially be good get thrown to the wayside. I mean, this is a better movie tie-in than most. There's definitely a lot more to do in this one than the past Amazing Spider-Man game. but it's still not up to par with some of the other Spider-Man games that were not movie licensed, like Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. You know the games I'm talking about. But if you want to play a Spider-Man game on PS4, I got this for $12 off GameFly. I would not really recommend spending more than that, and this is coming from a big Spider-Man fanboy. So, the Amazing Spider-Man for PS4 does a lot of interesting things, but F you, Activision. Now moving on to a better game, we have The Last of Us Remastered. Now I know I kind of went back on my word when I was talking about this. For those who do not know, when they announced that Last of Us is coming to the PS4, I was kind of like, wait, why are they doing this? The game just came out on PS3, that makes no sense. Like, what incentive is there? But there was definitely a lot of incentive to pick this up. Not only are the graphics upgraded, the frame rate is bumped to 60 FPS, but it comes with all the DLC from the previous Last of Us, and it also carries over the multiplayer, so nothing was left behind. You see what I did there? Left Behind is the DLC. Oh, I'm so not funny, I know. But yeah, The Last of Us is a fantastic game. It's one of Naughty Dog's best. And if you have not played it yet, I definitely recommend checking it out on PS4 just because of, you know, the added benefits and the frame rates. And you can find this really cheap. I've seen digital versions of this go on sale for as low as $22. So if you haven't played it, definitely pick up Last of Us Remastered. Need I say more? Watch Dogs, one of my most anticipated games in the past couple of years, failed to meet that anticipation. I'm not saying this is a bad game, but yeah, you can definitely tell that the vertical slice that they've shown us in the past was just that, a vertical slice. Like all the cool things that you saw in the gameplay demos and the trailers, you would think you'd be doing that in this game, but not really. I mean, it's got a lot of cool things in it, don't get me wrong. Like, I love the hacking aspect. I think that's pretty awesome, and seeing how the world is connected and everybody is unique in what they're doing. It's just very cool to play a social hacking open world game, kind of RPG-ish. But other than that, the story's not that great. The main character is bleh. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of good things about it. It's just something is just lost in translation when it comes to these games coming out. Like, I just feel like maybe it's a publisher thing more than a developer thing. But yeah, Watch Dogs is fun. It's worth checking out. But if you have another game that's open world, that starts with a G and ends in a 5, yeah, go for that one. This is a first for me because I've never actually delved into this franchise for more than a couple of hours. We have Diablo III, Reapers of Souls, Ultimate Evil Edition. So this comes with the original base game and the expansion pack, Reaper of Souls. Like I just reiterated, wow. Horrible. But I've been meaning to pick up Diablo for a while. I played the demo on PC a few years back and I really did enjoy it. So when I heard it was coming to consoles and I saw that a lot more of my friends had picked it up on PS4, and I was hearing very good things about the console version compared to the PC one, and it does not disappoint. If you're looking for a really great fun co-op game, then definitely check out Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. You're not going to regret it. It's a great game on any platform, but if you do have a current gen system, I'd say pick it up on the PS4 because, well, it's the best version on consoles. On to one of the most surprising pickups on the PlayStation 4, Wolfenstein The New Order. Now, I have not really ever played the Wolfenstein series before. I did dabble in the Wolfenstein game they released a couple of years back on Xbox and PS3. That game really wasn't fun. This game right here, oh my god, this is exactly what the current generation of first-person shooters needed. This is a great breath of fresh air. Just all the things that we have nowadays, all futuristic, all, you know, oh my god, we gotta stop the nuke, and just crazy things, let's attack the Russians, I don't know. But this is very fun. It's a great throwback to, you know, World War II style games, but it also mixes in some of the modern stuff, like they got robots in here and all these crazy weapons. And yeah, it's just so fun to play this game and basically feel like a badass compared to the other games where it's like, oh, we're gonna be the most powerful human alive. This man right here, oh, I'm gonna carry 16 billion guns at once. So if you want a really good first-person shooter, definitely check out Wolfenstein The New Order. Like, The reviews that you see on this, yeah, it's definitely worth it. What can be considered this generation's Resident Evil, I guess? We have The Evil Within from Shinji Mikami and Bethesda. Now, I know a lot of people out there wanted this to be the Resident Evil. They wanted this to be the competitor to Capcom. They wanted this to be the game that Capcom wouldn't give us. And I can say that it is on a lot of accounts, but I'm only 3 to 4 hours in, so I don't know if there's going to be a drastic turn for the worse. I mean, I do enjoy playing this. It's very fun, and it does give me, you know, Resident Evil 4 vibes, but I'm not, I guess, so far into it where I can say, yes, this is exactly what the industry needed. We need a part 2. But once I do, I'll definitely get back to you on this. I actually picked this up on Black Friday. It was on sale last year for like $20. That combined with Wolfenstein as well, they were both $20. I was like, whoa, I can't pass this up. And the fact that it came with a, yeah. Moving on to the first sealed game in the collection, we have Metro Redux. This is, of course, the HD remaster, which contains both Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light. Now, when they say Redux, they mean Redux. They went back, the developer, I forgot what the developer's name is. I don't even remember. Wow, I am so horrible. But the developer of Metro 2033, 4A Games, there we go. They went back and they did a lot of enhancements and improvements. They really listened to the community on some of the things that they wanted in the Metro series, and they obliged. So this is what was released on PS4 and Xbox One. Now, funny enough, I actually own both of these games on PC. I bought the first Metro when it was like $5 a couple of years ago, played it for a couple hours, got stuck somewhere, never played it again. Then I bought Metro Last Light when it was $5 on PC, did not touch it at all. And then I bought this for $20 on PS4 last year. Why? Because I'm a whore and I don't deserve to have any disposable income. I have to buy games that I've already bought before. It's pretty sad, but they're a really good developer. I really liked what I played, so I feel good. I feel justified in my purchase of games that I have not even touched. Look, it's still in the packaging. And it's going to stay in the packaging until I finish some of these other games, but yeah, look at this, man. Like, the disc is out of the package. Thank God this is Blu-ray, because if this shit was Xbox 360, oh, rest in peace. And another game that is supposedly really good, but I have not touched it yet. It's still in the packaging. We have Alien Isolation Nostromo Edition. I believe this is the day one edition that comes with, you know, the DLC that should have been in the game. I don't know, but yeah, another really good game. A lot of people are saying this is exactly what the Alien franchise needed, which I would agree on because I have seen some Let's Plays on this. Markiplier did a really good one, and I just got so excited for it. Then when I saw this for 20 bucks, yeah, like all these games that I have here, like the past 3 that I listed, they were 20 bucks on Black Friday last year, so I could not pass it up. So I will one day get onto this. I heard this is a very stream-worthy game, so I'll definitely have to do that on PS4. If y'all are interested, comment down below, and I'll do that for maybe next year's Halloween. Wow, I'm gonna wait a full 2 years before I play this at this rate. But yeah, I've heard it's a very fun, a very interesting game. It's kind of like, the closest thing I can relate this to is probably Outlast. I played that on the PC and PS4 and I really like that, and a lot of people are saying this is similar because there's only one monster in the game, so it's not like a crazy first-person shooter where you're just mowing down all these guys. So Alien Isolation Nostromo Edition. Now moving on to a game that I've actually played extensively, and by extensively I mean 4 hours. We got Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. Now let me tell you about this game right here, man. This game is freaking great. This is the game that I've been waiting for. An RPG with a robust adversary system. I was trying to find the right word, so that's why I had to pause like. But yeah, this is really cool because when you're fighting all these enemies and these bad guys, you know, it can get boring in these games. You just feel like you're mowing down pawns. But if you ever get killed by one of these pawns, they rank up in this hierarchy of evil badassery. So if you get killed by a pawn, they get promoted to like a general. And they get stronger and they get like their own base, and you have to go hunt them down, and they're more stronger because of it. So that was insanely cool, and it's like ever changing. So the impacts that you make in the game, be it killing people or being killed by others, it impacts how things progress in the story, which is really cool. Like, this is something I think a lot more RPGs should incorporate, because it can get kind of boring and monotonous when you're sitting down trying to level grind and then you get killed and you're like, oh crap, I have to do this all over again. There's no ramifications. You finally have it in this one. And of course the main guy is voiced by Troy Baker, so it's gonna be awesome on that account. And if you're just a fan of Lord of the Rings in general, I think you're gonna get a kick out of this one. This actually came with a bundle last year on Black Friday. It came with the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the extended editions, like, you know, the really awesome gold packaging with all the special features. And it came with this for $60. So I'm just like, the game is $60 normally. It just came out like 2 weeks ago, and I got the Blu-rays as well, which is like $60. What? So I had to get it. And here it is, Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. Moving on to another game that is still in the packaging. I swear, I have an explanation for everything. It's not just me buying it and not playing it. We got Far Cry 4, the limited edition, the day one edition. Why they are making $60 games say limited edition when all they're coming with is day one DLC is beyond me. But yeah, I've heard very good things about the Far Cry series. Really haven't dabbled too much into it. I played Far Cry 2 on the 360. And I have Far Cry Blood Dragon on PC. That's very fun. How I managed to snag this one in the collection is last year I was doing Christmas shopping at Best Buy, and they were having a buy two get one free sale. I think they do this every year. They did it this year and they did it last year. And so since I was shopping for my gamer friends, they said you can get a free game, and I'm like, oh snap, free game? So their choices were like Madden, Little Big Planet, and Assassin's Creed Unity. So I decided to go for this one because out of that group, this one seemed like it was the best pick. And from what I've seen, it is, because you can fight like elephants and shit. Yeah, there's elephants on the back right there. And the PlayStation 4 has this feature where you can invite 10 friends to do co-op. That sounds like a really awesome thing if I'd actually open the package, but Far Cry 4 Limited Edition, I got it for free, so I'm just, in my mind, I still feel justified that it's in the package. Moving on to one of my most played titles on the PlayStation 4, we have Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. Now, anybody who frequents the channel and watches my Square Enix rants, you know I've said a couple of colorful things about vanilla Final Fantasy XIV. I was saying that it was the biggest waste of time. How are you releasing an MMO in an unplayable state? And they had the nerve to go back in there and fix it. Like, they're wasting so many resources, man. They should just cut this shit altogether. And then I picked this one up on the recommendation of a good friend of mine, Dante86. And oh my god, you want to talk about a 180 in personal opinion and in actual gameplay, man. They hauled ass for this relaunch. A Realm Reborn, man. There's a reason why this game I have over 60 hours in. Like, I bought this last year. In about a month or so, I've played it for more than 60 hours. That is unheard of. The only time I do that is if I'm playing a Japanese RPG. And this was my very first MMO. Like, I've played WoW for like 2 hours. You know, the actual sad thing is I promised my friend Gabe that we'd be continuing playing it, but we never did, and that was like 3 years ago. I'm sorry, Gabe. If you guys want to play with me on Final Fantasy XIV, I am on the Zalera server, and I'd be down to play with y'all. I know everyone's like spread out between different servers. This is the one that my friend was playing on, and since he was with me since the beginning, we're just playing on that server. So if you do have this game, let me know down below in the comments section. Right now, since I just got back into it, I am just finishing up the main story, the main campaign, so I can move on to all the other stuff and actually play the experience. Like, you know, the South Park episode where they were doing the World of Warcraft spoof was the funniest. It's like they beat this badass villain, and they're like, what do we do? Well, now we play the game. So I figure that's what's going to happen here. But I am in no rush to actually finish the main base game because I also have the expansion pack, Heaven's Ward. Yep, I picked up Heaven's Ward when I really wasn't even playing Final Fantasy XIV. Why? Because this thing was $14 at Best Buy a couple months ago, and the expansion had just come out. Like, I'm telling y'all, Best Buy is the place to go for video games. Screw GameStop, screw Target. Amazon is still big because they got that 2-day shipping and release day delivery. So yeah, I got both of these, and I've only collectively paid $34. So that is awesome. You know, the game and the expansion for under 40 bucks. Sweetness. Probably what can be considered one of the most polarizing releases of the year, we have Batman Arkham Knight. And the reason why I say this is polarizing is, first and foremost, the launch of this game on PC was absolutely terrible. I know I'm talking about the PS4 version, but why the PC? Well, you're going to find out in a second. I had pre-ordered Batman Arkham Knight last year. The second they announced it, I was like, yes, I'm done. I pre-ordered it for $40 on this website, and it came with the Game of the Year edition, not the Game of the Year edition, wow, the Season Pass and the base game. I was just like, yo, that is awesome, man. I'm getting this and the Season Pass, sweet. So the game comes out on PC, absolutely broken, barely playable, and I'm just sitting here shit out of luck because I really want to play this game, and I can't. So, me being the whore with disposable income, I picked up the game on PS4. Since Best Buy was having a sale, I managed to pick it up for like $43. Like a week after it came out. And yeah, that's where we are today. I have the PS4 version and the PC version. The PC version is still unplayable, and I should probably get a refund for it since I'm unable to play it. $40 for the Season Pass, and the game was not too much of a stretch for me. So all in all, I paid like $80 something for Batman Arkham Knight just to get a playable version. That's actually pretty depressing, and Warner Brothers and Rocksteady and all those guys involved should really be ashamed of themselves. And I know someone's going to come in the comment section and say, oh no, it's not Rocksteady's fault, you know, they just outsourced it to another team. Collectively, everybody is to blame in this situation. But what do I think about Arkham Knight? It's a very good Batman game. No doubt about that. It's very fun. I love playing it. My only problem is the story is so disappointing. They were hyping this thing up as the finale in the epic Arkham trilogy. I'm so pissed off because of the identity of the Arkham Knight. And I'm not going to spoil it for those who are playing, but anybody who has just ever read anything about Batman or seen a particular movie, which happens to be my favorite Batman movie, you'll understand who the Arkham Knight is when he first appears on screen. There's a particular line that he says, and you're just like, really, Rocksteady? Oh, this is an original character who's never been seen in the Batman universe before. Really, Rocksteady? That game pisses me off so much. But moving on to a better game, and one of these surprises of the year for me, we have Dragon Ball Xenoverse. I did a video talking about my first impressions on it, and they still hold up pretty dang well. This is one of the best Dragon Ball games to come out in a very long time. Honestly, since Raging Blast 2. And what I really like about this is that it is, like, so many things that we've been complaining about in the Dragon Ball series, they are fixed and they are introducing more cool things. Like, we wanted custom character creation. It's in this game. We wanted a more robust online experience. It's in this game. We wanted a story where it's not just going through the Saiyan saga, the Frieza saga, the Android Cell, boo. It's a different story in this game involving new characters, and you were actually involved in the story. So I really got to tip my hat off to fucking Dimps, man. Dimps, like, yo, this guy's the real MVP when it comes to the Dragon Ball Z games. Yeah, let me the Budokai games. Yo, Dimps on point, man. This is on point. That's all I'm gonna say. And I cannot wait for a sequel to this because there is so much that they could expand upon. The combat is not necessarily the deepest that I've seen. I would have preferred something more akin to the Budokai Tenkaichi series, but it's still very good for what they're doing. Like, the effort that they put into this game, it's up there. Like, they are definitely trying to appease all the Dragon Ball fans, and it's worked. Like, I have not seen a Dragon Ball game this good in a very long time. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely pick up Xenoverse. You can get it pretty cheap for like $20, $30. It is so worth the investment. When I was talking about Watch Dogs earlier, I mentioned a particular video game that, well, if you had this one, you really didn't need to play Watch Dogs for obvious reasons. Grand Theft Auto 5. I gotta say this is probably my favorite Grand Theft Auto next to San Andreas. I know, cliched opinion, right? But this game, oh my gosh. Oh my god, all the things that I hated in Grand Theft Auto 4, fixed in this game. The online is so beautiful now that heists are added. The single player is great. The visuals are beautiful. Like, there is so much to do in this game. And I'm not saying that Grand Theft Auto 4 was bad in any way. I enjoyed Grand Theft Auto 4. I've put like probably 100 hours between the 360 and PC version. My only problem was that it was just too serious. Like, there was so much that you could have done with Liberty City that you really didn't. All you could do is just play the main story and, oh, go bowling with cousin. Yay. Roman, my cousin, let's go bowling and fuck these American bitches. I don't know. But Grand Theft Auto 5 is so much better. Multiple character storylines that intersect and they are interwoven in this awesome story where I'm trying to, make things sound more complicated than they actually are with big fancy words. Yo guys, what's going on? This is NGS. I know this is gonna come off as pretty strange, but I was actually in the middle of editing this video when I realized that I had actually lost a couple of minutes worth of footage, basically the transition between Grand Theft Auto 5 to the next game. So to finish up what I was saying about GTA 5 after the whole I definitely really want y'all to play this game if you haven't played this game already. And I am much looking forward to the future DLC for this. Any heist and story DLC, preferably. But definitely a step in the right direction for the GTA franchise. As you can see, the games have already been transitioned back to the shelf. Now we're moving on to what I mentioned earlier when I was talking about Far Cry 4 and how I acquired that. Best Buy has been doing this annual buy two get one free deal on all current gen systems. With the exception of the Wii U, they seem to have Nintendo deals after the fact. But since this year in particular, they were having that sale and there were a couple of games that I knew I wanted to pick up, I managed to snag 3 new games for the collection. And first off, we have Call of Duty Black Ops 3. This is the first time that I've purchased a Call of Duty game since 2010's Call of Duty Black Ops. Yeah, I've played some of the games since then, particularly Black Ops 2 and Modern Warfare 3, but those were either gifted to me or my brother actually purchased them. But yeah, this is the first game I've played since Black Ops 2 in 2012, and I gotta say, from what I've played so far, it does not disappoint. This is a really solid entry in the Call of Duty series, and I know it's going to sound redundant for a person who enjoys Call of Duty Zombies, but yeah, I do buy these games for zombies. Zombies is one of my favorite aspects of the series. It's why I prefer Treyarch more than any developer working on COD, because they have zombies, and each and every iteration of zombies just gets... I don't want to say they only get better, but they get more unique and very different. They're so varied. If you're playing the original Zombies in 2008 compared to Zombies now, it's so different. There's so much to do. The lore is expanded. It's not just survive for X amount of rounds. And one thing I really do love about Zombies in this one is that you can't really camp as much as you did in the other games. Now, granted, this may be because I've only played a couple of rounds and I haven't gotten past, a particular round where you can find these camping spots. But compared to what I played extensively in World at War, this is a very different zombie experience, but I love it. It also has campaign co-op for those interested. I really do like that because while the Call of Duty stories aren't the best and they're not the most glamorous, it's definitely great to have a friend or two to go through the entire campaign, so at least, you can get through those, 6 hours of gameplay. Get some kind of enjoyment out of them. And of course, multiplayer makes a return. Multiplayer in Call of Duty games is always solid, save for Call of Duty Ghosts. But yeah, Call of Duty Black Ops 3. I'm always on zombies. If you guys have PlayStation Network, hit me up and I'll be down to play with y'all. And now back to where we left off in the recording. The second game that I purchased, which I showed you guys in a video a couple of days back, is Tales of Zestiria. Tales of Zestiria is, of course, the next installment of the Tales series, and I'm still playing through this right now. I'm trying to get that first impression video up for y'all. I'm currently 11 hours into it at the time of this recording, but I'm definitely going to get onto that, and I'm going to do the first impressions for y'all, because I know a lot of people are on the fence about this installment of the Tales franchise. So I'm going to do my best as the resident black guy with glasses, Tales fanboy, to give you guys a pretty good assertion of this game in particular. And the last game that I picked up for the buy two get one free sale was Disgaea 5, what is the subtitle for this one? Alliance of Vengeance. You guys might recall a video I did during Beta Vlog Every Day in April, where I was talking about games that I have not played in my collection and I regret buying for that sole reason. And the Disgaea series was one of them. I own almost every game in the Disgaea franchise. I own every game on PS3. I own Disgaea 3 on the Vita. I own a Disgaea game on DS. Like, there's so many games that I own, like, now that I have not even played. And I can add Disgaea 5 to that list. Why? Because it was free. It was a freaking free game. And I'm like, yo, I cannot pass this up. A free Disgaea 5. And the Day 1 edition, well, this is something that NIS does with all of their games. You get, bonus art book, soundtrack, reversible cover. Same thing that I got with my Disgaea D2. So yeah, there's just a bunch of cool stuff for people who buy it on launch. And yeah, if you guys have played Disgaea 5, let me know down below in the comments section, and I'll probably get onto it at some point because I love the fact that these games have so much content in them. Like, one of my best friends on Facebook, Brandon Evans, this dude out there is a Disgaea fiend. Both him and Dante86, they be talking about, like, yeah, we put like 200 hours in just one game. There's just so much to do. And I'm just like, yo, man, this is what I need right now. Actually, no, this is not what I need right now. If I'll be no life in one game, and when I have all these other games to finish, oh, it's what I need, but not right now. And moving on to the final 3 games in the set, these are steelbooks. Basically, they came with special editions. First up, we have The Order 1886. I did an unboxing of this a couple months back if you guys want to check this out. I'm about a couple of hours into this, and I gotta say, The Order is not as bad as people are making out to be. I still to this day do not understand the... You know, if it was just people who didn't like the game, sure, it's fine, but there was an active campaign for this game to bomb for whatever reason. Oh, we don't need games in the industry that are $60 that are this length, yada, yada, yada. And it's just like, Ready at Dawn's not fooling y'all. They told y'all this is a story-driven, third-person shooter. And that's it. Now, would I have liked it to be more? Of course, I would have loved for there to be like some type of co-op mode where you're playing with all your friends. But for what we got, it's still a great game. Like, the visuals are unparalleled. The gameplay is pretty good. The story is interesting. The only thing I think that you can argue is the price of it. Like, if you're paying $60 for a game that's really worth one playthrough, I can see how that would not be worth it. But all of this people who are vehemently hating the game when they haven't even played it, they're just looking to speed runs to hate the game. It's just, it was not worth it because it's a good game at the end of the day. Like, are there improvements that could be made? Of course, yes, every game can need improvements, but that whole active campaign to get this game to bomb was really funny. It was really funny because the game still sold a shit ton of copies on release. I'm just saying, like, if you guys are going to try to go against something, like, at least make sure your critiques actually sway gamers away instead of getting gamers to look into it and see what it's all about. I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, everybody was against this, putting their, like, 3s and their 2s and their 1s, and I'm like, y'all, see, this is why we need ethics in gaming journalism when you have people out there who do that, because we really don't have any journalists in gaming, to be honest. Alright, next up, this one came in special edition. You probably can't tell looking at this, but it is for Final Fantasy Type 0 HD. This came in a really awesome special edition. It came with a really cool looking box. It has a manga in there and so many other cool things. I did an unboxing of this as well. And the main reason I think a lot of people purchased this was because it came with the demo for Final Fantasy 15. But I was actually one of the cool folks, and I purchased it because I wanted to play Type 0. And to be honest, Type 0, oh, I'll just say this. They could have done a lot better job at remastering this game. It still feels like a PSP game in many ways. Many, many, many ways. Really regretful ways. That makes sense, right? Yeah, I mean, it's if you really want to play Type 0 on the PSP and you want to check it out, get the PS4 version, obviously, because it's the only version available in English. But the game itself is just, man, you're thinking like, yo, they're going to do a crazy HD remaster. It's just a prettier looking PSP game, unfortunately. And the last game in the collection, and one of my favorites and the most beautiful steelbook that I own, we have Bloodborne. Oh man, definitely Game of the Year material right here. If y'all haven't checked out the Souls series, Demon Souls, Dark Souls, do yourself a favor and pick up Bloodborne. It is fantastic. It's phenomenal. Literally, I don't like to say this, but believe the hype. Believe the freaking hype when it comes to Bloodborne. This game is just so worth it. For many reasons that I'm not going to get into right now because, well, everybody's gotten into them. But yeah, Bloodborne is one of my favorite games, which I do need to spend more time on. I agree, since I have not played much of it. But for what I have played, which is like a couple hours, it's very fun and very worth it, especially this steelbook. Look at it. It's sweet. And that was it, ladies and gentlemen. That was my PlayStation 4 collection video as of December 2015. And I gotta say, for owning a PS4, I got mine in February or March, around there, of 2014. I say I've done pretty well for myself as far as collecting things. And the really cool thing that I love about gaming, in general, just being a part of the Best Buy Gamer Club Rewards membership, is that you can get so many awesome discounts off video games. The only PlayStation 4 games I'm looking at in my collection that I've actually paid full price on: Infamous Second Son, Destiny, The Last of Us Remastered, and that's it. That's it. Every other game in the collection I've gotten upwards from 10 to 15 to 20 plus dollars off of. Like, you can be a really, really savvy consumer and build up a great library if you just look for these deals. For example, Bloodborne, the collector's edition. Like, since I have Gamers Club unlocked, I took 20% off of that. Like, all these games that are here, I've gotten some type of discount in some way, shape, or form. And you guys can do it too. Like, just look for these things. It's not hard to be a collector of games. What is hard is actually sitting down and playing these games. Like, I love the fact that I'm getting discounts on games, but it's like, I'm never gonna have time to play them. I'm horrible, I know. Anyway, you guys, what did you think about this video? Post your comments down below on some of your favorite PlayStation 4 games, and what is your game of the year for 2015? I'm GS signing out, and like always, I will catch you guys later. Peace.